Dom, dress. Good, yes. Platz. Okay, hey everyone, this is Brian Johnson. We're here with E3 Firearms Association and Dom. He's one of our team members, our mascot, and we got tons of emails and comments from folks that saw a post about a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago, with Dom on the range with us and stuff. And we had a lot of comments. People wanted to see more of Dom and hear more about Dom and kind of what we do with him and stuff. So we're going to do a quick video for you here. And couple disclaimers I want to put out there right up front. We are not a dog training company. We're not a canine training company. Dom's just part of the team, mascot. He's our buddy, so to speak. So we're not a dog training company. We are a firearms training company. You know, we're online and loads of courses and lessons and live events and live shooting events and E3 TV, streaming TV. There's just all kinds of stuff in the E3 membership, and that's what we're about. We're firearms training, but responsible firearms training for civilians as well as agencies and stuff. So that's what we are. That's one disclaimer. Second disclaimer, I'm not a professional dog trainer. You know, I'm Dom's handler. I went through some handling school and things like that, but I'm not a professional dog trainer. So all you guys out there that are pros and know a lot more about dog training than me, you know, you don't have to send me emails that I'm doing something wrong here. But what I'm going to share with you guys, and I'm sharing with you guys, is what works for Dom and I, what we do together, and how we train together. And if it's something that can help you and you can use it, great. If not, throw it out and find another way. But just want to throw those two disclaimers out there. So the stuff we're going to talk about is dominance capabilities, because that's the big thing that everybody's been asking about, and I've been getting a lot of emails, and I'll go through those questions and stuff. We're going to talk about his equipment, his collar, or the stuff that we use with Dom when we're out or when we're just training locally. We're going to talk about his training, what kind of training we do, and get into that and kind of how we train and stuff like that. And then there was a lot of questions about pictures of him on the airplanes and how we travel and things like that. So we're going to talk about how we travel and what we do that, as well as what we do on the range and what we're doing for getting him trained on the range and stuff. And then also there was questions about his commands and things. You know, we do it in German. Most of it's in German. So I'll go through all that. So those are things we're going to go through. So I guess the first question to hit is people are asking what his vest is. And this is called the Icon vest. And it comes from a company called Ray Allen Manufacturing. Ray Allen does a lot of canine stuff, and so it's called the Icon vest. Love this vest. It's just the way that it's built. It's got enough mollies on it, so if we are on the range or we're out somewhere, I'll usually put another tourniquet on here or a med kit, something like that, a trauma kit that will go on here as well. Great handles that if I need to lift them up or grab them, put them over a fence or something like that, this is great support for them, as well as it has some points here where you can hook onto your vest. And you know, a lot of guys in the military and things dive out of planes and things with dogs like this, and they can hook them up here. So it's called the Icon vest from Ray Allen Manufacturing. Love the vest. Also his collar. I'll take his collar off here for a second. His collar is also from Ray Allen Manufacturing. So it's just they call it it's a buckle collar with a handle on it, and because it also has a spot here for the leash as well. So this is his collar, and again from Ray Allen Manufacturing. And then the leash that we use, this for if I'm in the airports or malls or we're kind of out and about, you know, this is it's a little bit stretchy, and Platz, bleib. It's a little stretchy. He thinks we're going out. I'm picking up the leash, so he thinks we're going on a trip. But great buckles here, where just how they connect and things like that is great. And it connects to when we're out and about. Bleib. I have a little fast release that you can use here. So it clips on here, and if we got to get him out of it real quick, just pull it. He comes off. So this is more for when we're like in a working environment and we're out and about in airlines and stuff like that. Okay, and then he has his collar on here, which is his training collar. We're going to talk about that in a second. So those are the pieces. I know that some people asked about headsets and stuff in the range. Just so you know, the pictures that we did post a couple weeks ago, those were not live fire with him right beside us. He's been on the range, and we're slowly getting him into more of right direct next to us contact with fire and stuff. Right now he's on the range. He's usually about 50 yards away from live fire. We're looking for headsets and goggles for him right now. So The range is a little new for him, but he's been doing great on the range. So we're going to get some headsets for him and some goggles, and then he will be right with us. So stuff that we're doing on the range is really just moving with firearms and just like clearing areas, cutting the pie, stuff like that with him right beside us. So that's the training right now we're doing on the range, and then we're just also getting him used to the gunfire and stuff like that. Right, buddy? Yeah. So that's the stuff on the headsets we're getting, his Icon vest and things like that. So a couple questions that came in was why the choke collar? Well, first of all, this is not a choke collar, so I just want to be clear about that, everybody. This is a training collar. Some people call it a correction collar, a pinch collar. This is not a choke collar. This does not close all the way and choke. It only goes a certain amount, and basically has little prongs in the backhand side here, and it mimics his parent. Matter of fact, Dom loves this collar. In the morning, first thing he does, pushes his collar to it. He wants it on. It's like a comfort thing for him that he has this collar on. He loves it. He has it on all the time. So he absolutely loves to have this collar on. Same thing with the vest, by the way. You guys saw him just get right in his vest. If I pick the vest up, he knows we're going out. He knows he's going to work, and he loves to have the vest on. It holds around him. It's tight, and it gives him a little bit of a comfort feeling. So again, this is not a choke collar. This is a training collar. This is what we use for training. And despite what most people think, this is not a collar that, unfortunately it gets a bad name, because I'll see some people dragging their dogs down the street with, a pinch collar or like this, and that's not what it's made for. This is a collar we use for training, and it's really just to, very occasionally you have to like jingle it to give them a little bit of a, hey Dom, do this, or hey Dom, do that. We're never yanking it. That's not what I use it for. I don't yank it and correct them and discipline them. That's not what it's for. It's really, if you train properly, it's, the first thing you do is teach them how to relieve pressure. So if Dom, sits. If you're using the right techniques, basically what you're doing is if you're pulling it one way, he knows to go that way, and when he goes that way, you relieve pressure. You come this way with it, he knows to go that way, and you relieve pressure. So we use it for training, and once you kind of got that down and he understands it, it's a lot easier to get him to we say foos, but heel or walk beside you, whatever it may be. So, that's what this is. It's not a choke collar by any means. And then this collar usually is, if we're just training, we don't have this on. If we're out and working and things, then he would have this on. This is, this is more what we call the agitator collar. So he'll have both these collars on. And if we're just walking around or whatever training, we're on his training collar. And then if he has to go to work, or we want to light him up or something like that, we change over to the agitator collar. And you'll see some videos where we'll launch at somebody. That's what this agitator collar is usually on him for. And again, it's a service dog and things like that. So that's the collars. So that's the questions that came in on the collars. Questions on Dom's capabilities. I mean, he's a pretty laid-back dog. He is not a super hyper, really, really aggressive type dog like you might get in like the Malinois and things like that. Dom is basically, first of all, he's a purebred German Shepherd. His father, if you want to look it up, his father is Jaeger, who was the IPO world champion 2 years. And from my understanding, he's the only dog that's ever done 2 years to win that championship. So his father's the IPO. He's a pure German Shepherd. But he's certainly a really laid-back German Shepherd. He's certainly not an extremely aggressive dog or hyperactive or things like that. We could put him in a command like this, and he'll stay there for hours, and he loves it. He's satisfying us to do it. So, and then I'll show you some of the commands and stuff and how we get him out of this command and stuff like that. Okay, so on his capabilities, I mean, basically, he's a protection dog, but not like a high-level protection dog yet. He's mainly a service dog, and he's doing some protection work and doing some range work and things like that with us. We'll roll some video and things in with you, but he's pretty laid back. I mean, he knows a lot of the commands, and he knows a lot of what to do. Somebody comes to the front door, rings the doorbell, knocks on the door, he runs to the front door, and he'll sit there and wait and watch what happens. So if I open a door, and if it's somebody, especially the front door, if I shake their hand, then he knows they're okay. That's fine. If he doesn't, he stays on alert until we know what's going on. If somebody comes in side doors or doors they shouldn't be, like a guest would, he definitely lights up. And we just had it yesterday where a friend of my daughter's came in a side door, and he immediately said, wait a minute, nobody's supposed to be coming into that door except for my family. So he's pretty good about understanding and reasoning. He's a good thinking type dog. So again, his capabilities are everything. I mean, he goes everywhere with us. His commands are great. We can light him up. We can, have him protect us. He's pretty good at knowing the difference between launching at somebody and protect, or just getting between us and protecting. I've had instances at Home Depot where he's fine and everything's great, and all of a sudden somebody's coming down the aisle and he just picked up on, for some reason, that particular person, and he just pushes me against the rack and he stays between that person and myself, and everybody else in the Home Depot is fine. So he picked up on that, and he doesn't just launch at everybody. That's not what he does, and a good trained dog shouldn't do that anyway, unless it's really on command. So again, he's laid back, but his capabilities are pretty good. Airport, airlines, we'll talk about that in a minute. So that's it. So that answers the next question that came up, like, is he aggressive? And he's really not. Dom's not a real aggressive dog. We didn't want a really hyper, like Malinois type, always on type dog. We wanted one that was more laid back like Dom, and if we have to, and he has to protect us, then he can. So that's more what we're looking for in Dom. So he's really not that aggressive at all, but we'll show you some videos and stuff here. How's he around gunshots? Well, we're just now getting him into more of the range stuff where he can be right beside us. Again, we're going to get some headsets and goggles for him. He's great, and he's 50 yards away and stuff, and he's getting used to it more and things like that, and we're going to keep working on him. So that's one area that we need to work on him with. So some other questions that came through were on his training. How do we train him? How often do we train him? And basically the training we use with Dom is what we call positive reinforcement rewards-based training. Hardly ever when we're actually in training mode do we ever get into nose, bad, down. We don't, that's not what we do. It's all about, and I know a lot of people do that, and great if that works for you. But with Dom, it's been all positive reinforcement. So if we're in training, and we try to train, if we can do it every day, great, but sometimes we can't, so at least 3-4 days a week for a solid 10 minutes to 15 minutes. So really hyper-focused training for 10-15 minutes. So it's not like loose training here 10 times a day. It's like a solid 10-15 minutes of training of just hyper focus. So the rewards we use are a few different things. So food, of course. So his food that we use, his ball, loves his ball, and then of course affection is too. So we try to mix it up so he doesn't always need to have food for his training. So his training, again, is rewards based. So how we do it is we get him to do the command or what we want him to do, and then we mark it with the word yes. So we say, Dom this, Dom that, yes, and then we give him the food. So as soon as he does what we want him to, we mark it right away with yes. Then he always knows that, hey, the food's going to come after it. And the reason is he could be across the room, and we tell him the plots, which is down for most of you, bleib. So he could be across the room, and I can't get to the food fast enough, because you got to get that food in him or that reward to him within a second or two of the command. So you use a marker, and then he always knows from the marker he did right, and then he knows that the reward of the food's going to come after that. So we typically would do Dom, do this, and then yes, food. Dom, do this, yes, then food. Not yes, food at the same time, but yes, that's his marker, then the food comes after it. Or yes, then the ball comes after it. So that's how we do it. And if he's doing something wrong or he's like misbehaving, which he really doesn't do anymore, he's pretty trained, we ignore it. We don't even pay attention to him. We don't give him any attention when he's doing something he shouldn't be doing. Not that he's doing something bad, but if he's not doing what he should be doing, we ignore it, we start over. Or if we put him in a plot or down for most of you, and then we walk away, and then we're wanting him to stay, we'll be saying, good, we didn't mark it yet, good. And then when we're done long enough, yes, then we mark it. But if it comes out of that, we don't say no, bad, or anything like that. We just bring him right back to where he's supposed to, sit him right back down, go through it again. And then as soon as he gets there long enough, yes, then we mark it. So that's kind of the rewards-based training that we do with him. Dom's a extremely intelligent dog. He picks up on, he learns commands. We've taught him so much in just a short time we had him. He learns commands like in 5 or 6 times he's got it, where most dogs it may take a good solid 20 for him to get it. He gets it pretty quick. So he's pretty good from a training standpoint. So that's what we do on training. Maybe we can get into some more later. We'll see if you guys like this video or you share this with a lot of people. We'll get the trainers here and we'll do a really good solid hour or something like that video for you. So, okay, so we talked about kind of training. We had questions come in on travel. Okay, buddy. We had questions come in on travel, and he flies in the airlines, great in the airport. I mean, the bottom line is, as long as you get the standard, the basic important commands down, like sit, his is sits, plots, which is down, you know, stay, stand, you know, those basic things, you know, get those solid, you know, you can pretty much take them anywhere. But, you know, he walks through the airports with us, no problem, jumps on the plane, gets on the plane with us, sits in his seat, we'll roll some pictures and stuff in, slides in the seat, gets on the floor, and then he's down until we get off the plane. So it's pretty good about, you know, traveling, going wherever we go, stay in other rooms, hotel rooms, whatever it is. He just goes with the flow. So traveling wise, you know, like I said, we'll roll some pictures in, and he's been great on that. So last question I'll hit on this, because I don't want Nate this to be a long video, is a lot of people are asking me about the cost of a dog like Dom. You know, a really good trained canine or a trained service dog or protection dog at his level, you know, on the low end should be down in the 30,000 range, and the high ends, you know, 60,000 plus for a dog like Dom. Dom's extremely smart. He can, you know, he's certainly at the higher level when it comes to his type of dog. You know, he can do commands by vocal or commands by hand, all the above. So, you know, for his capabilities, he's certainly at the higher end. So those are the ranges of a good dog like that. So, and then people asked about, you know, like commands. His commands, he's got about 30, 35 commands right now, and he's about 95% on his commands. So if we tell him a command, he does it. If we and he stays there until we tell him. So that's about the story on Dom, and hopefully you guys enjoyed this. Tell you what, here's what we'll do. If we get 100 shares, if you guys share this video and you really want to see more about like Dom's real training, we'll get the trainers together and we'll really do some good videos and a lot of talks and some interviews about training a dog like Dom. We'll do that, but we need to get like 100 shares, and like the next week, if we get that, then I'll go ahead and get everything scheduled, and we'll do like a solid video for everybody. We'll let you know when it's going to come out. So hopefully that answered a lot of questions that got emailed into us. I didn't want to hit them all. We just have so much time. I just wanted to do a short video, but that's the story on Dom. So I'll show you a little bit how he gets out of his commands and things like that. And hey, Dom, sits. Yes, good. Plots. And if we just use hand commands, he'll follow his just hand commands. So, you know, I can also just do vocal. So, Dom sits. Good. Dom plots. Good. Dom here. Place. Sits. Good. Move. Back. Yes. So there you go, folks. That's Dom in a nutshell. And you got a little bit of taste. And I'll show you kind of how do we get him out of command. And there's some bugs and stuff out here. But I'll show you how we get him out of command. So, you know, basically, Dom, look. Okay, go. And then he gone. So hopefully that was great, everybody. And take care. We'll see you on the next video. Bye.